The MG Show. What real independent journalism looks like.
What you know you can't explain. But you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong. You don't know what it is, but it's there. Like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. Experience the awakening. Brilliant anonymous researchers. Patriots, join us in the Patriot Army. Trust the plan, pain coming. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go. RedStateTalkRadio.com, Brighteon.tv, Rumble.com/MG Show. The end won't be for everyone. That choice to know will be yours. Where we go one, we go all. Fight, 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 and fight we will. We fight every day right here on the MG Show. Oh. Here we are on the MG Show. It is Friday, yeah. Saturday, Sunday, what? Hey, Shady Groove, welcome to the show. No pillow talk today because we're fired up.
Wow, guys. Wow. Amazing. Amazing. Another week has gone by already, and amazing to see how much of the people, how many people out there that are participating in social media are just really ready to throw you and everything that you've done for the last decade of your life under the bus to tell you how now you're a pedophile protector, and now that you are you are blind and you are following a cult and you are Israel first. Every single one of them that are doing that to you, ladies and gentlemen, are the operators that we've been calling out on this show.
Black pillars.
They are on full display, clear as day. We thank them for exposing themselves so that we can clearly step over them and move on into the golden age with each and every one of us here and Donald J. Trump. Very few other podcasters, Jeff, are picking up the ball and moving past it.
And General Black Pill is siding with Massey. And, I mean, it's insane, dude. General Flynn is the head of the Black Pill Network, along with Alex Jones and all of his little digital asshats, Shady.
That's 100% true. Let's point to the nest. Let's not point to the individual bee.
That's right, man. And we're figuring it out, guys. And everybody else is, too. I see, obviously Dilly, who has us blocked for whatever reason. Miguelifornia is calling him General Black Pill, rightfully so. And we've been calling him out since 2023. But what I see is they don't see the rest of the network. They see partial, and they might see the rest of it later, but they don't include, I think I also saw them posting Lara Logan. Lara Logan is part of that Black Pill network. She just called for the disassembly of the CIA because of some O'Keefe Media stupid dude texting to a girl that he was honeypotted on Tinder. Okay, one person doesn't make the whole thing bad, guys. Stop it.
Exactly right. But isn't it interesting? And also a few other things that I've been seeing from that camp is Roger Stone. They're not understanding that Roger Stone is participating in the General Flynn op. Those two are peas of the same pod. They are wings of the same bird.
That is absolutely correct, Shady. Sadly. So George Floyd, Renee Good is the new George Floyd, Shady.
And didn't we tell you that? Didn't we come in on the air a few weeks ago and tell you that they are going to try to turn this Renee Good thing into George Floyd? Right when it happened, here they are, the news media going along with it. But the thing is, Jeff, it is not pervasive like it was in 2020. And I want to let everybody understand that they're not spreading to every single city in the country. This is mostly out there in Minnesota. Some of the stuff in Oregon and California is going on, a little bit of stuff in Chicago, Philly, and New York. But the reality of the situation is they are not motivating people to go outside and light their neighborhood on fire. That's the right measure of how triggered the Democrats have them, how good on the string they are. Well, I don't see them burning down the cities yet.
So here we go. This is like, Summer of Love Part 2. Part 1 was George Floyd. In what city, Shady, was he in?
I think that was in Minnesota.
It was in Minneapolis.
Minnesota.
Yeah, same city as Summer of Love Part 2 with Renee Good, guys. And George Floyd's family lawyer will represent Renee Good.
Well, and also let's not forget this is a throwback, Jeff. I know you're overwhelmed right now, but I'm going to give you another one. This is a quiz. It's going to be what U.S. governor admitted during a vice presidential debate that he knew and had a relationship with school shooters.
Tim Walz.
That would be Tim Walz.
Yeah. Yeah. So Q Post 22 is fully unlocked. Also with the Summer of Love Part 2, because midterms are coming up, and General Blackpill saying Republicans, are we live? Republicans are not going to win the midterms, and we're going to win the midterms. General Blackpill. All right, you just sit down and shut up. How about that?
We don't need your 3.5 million goofy podcasting minions. We don't care. It's not going to work. The golden age is happening. Somebody made a comment to me, all the young people are yeah, let's see what happens whenever they file that tax return.
Yeah. My God, guys. So we've got a lot going on, folks. We've got Rumble Premium. We're going to do part 2 of Follow the Bloodlines, guys. Q asked us several times to follow the Bloodlines, and we're going to do just that. Last season, Shady Groove, our premium, was Pandora's Box, okay? This one is the Bloodlines of the Illuminati by Fritz Springmeier, and Bloodlines is where it's at, guys. Because I was talking to somebody last night, Shady Groove, and I want to just give a shout out to Mark and Cora. Hello, Mark and Cora. They know Bongino as well, and I had a really nice conversation with them about the black pills, about some of the research that we've done in history. We're just researching history. It's not a black pill when you can back it up. And they were very interested in seeing our show. I hope they're seeing the show today. It was great to meet you last night, and it's really cool to run into people that understand this. But this is from Q, and I explained that Q is different than QAnon and all the hype. And I understand that some people don't understand Q, and when people don't understand Q, they immediately just slough it off, because they have their own thoughts and process and everything. But we covered Q, okay? But trace the bloodlines of these 3 families, okay? Soros replaced family Y. Who is family Y? All of that. So we were the only Anons that actually followed the bloodlines, okay? We understand the bloodlines pretty well. And it's the history. Queen Marie Antoinette was beheaded, Shady. And then Daniel Pacer came here, had a son, Louis Cass Pacer, that son, and they had the 48 families with the Virginia, the Virginia Company. And when Washington, D.C. became a state, they moved that trust over to Delaware. So we're literally crossing the Delaware, the United States of America and Body Politic Trust. And we're literally crossing the Delaware, different than George Washington did, but we are literally crossing the same the same river, essentially, Shady.
Okay, so a couple of little things I want to add to what you said there. I want to give you a little bit of an overview for people that might be, if we're talking maybe to someone who hasn't or doesn't understand or has had a misunderstanding of what Q was. It's very, very simple. What Q was a communication tool used by Donald Trump to communicate directly to the people without the filter of the mainstream news. Yep. That's all it was. And it was raw data. It was literally like everybody talks about these encrypted posts and all that. There was some of that, but the majority of it was a Socratic method using questions to answer questions, and then questions of the questions to answer more questions. Simply asking you, the public, does this look like corruption? do these look like connections? Is this something that you feel like is right, or is this a way that you're being manipulated? And what we clearly see is that the markets have been manipulated since the beginning of the Federal Reserve. And Jeff mentioned Louis Pasteur, and the best way to categorize him would be America's king. Louis Pasteur was basically the quote-unquote king of America for the whole duration, and all of the businesses and the Fortune 500 companies became a monopoly that became the Federal Reserve that belonged to the globalists that started using the American economy as a reverse funnel. Everything, all the wealth that was built in America for the first 170 years or so, a reverse funnel back to the globalists because they felt like you stole from them. Yeah. And the people that are fighting us right now and calling Renee Good, the new saying that they're doing, it's the same thing. The people like the Black Pillars, it's the same thing. The people like the cartel in Mexico, it's the same thing. The people like Maduro control CIA networks all around the world, anti-communist CIA networks, all the same thing. Trump himself with us, the people, are fighting all of it. That's, in a nutshell, what Q was.
That's right. And I also, everybody's saying that it's, Trump is in bed with Israel. Shady, do you have that handy? Who said that?
It's
statement on Gaza. Witkoff?
Yes, sir. Steve Witkoff. And I can probably get that pretty quick. I don't have it right in front of me, but I would like to read that.
Let me get it here real quick.
I think that it would be, I don't think it's too far down on his page, but this is very important for you guys. What he's setting up here is, we're going to ask you the question, is Bibi in control of Donald Trump? That's the narrative. That's the psychological operation that every time you say something good about Donald Trump, you're either going to be called a pedo protector or you're going to be called a make Israel great again person.
Yeah.
That's
I'm trying to find out. So what was his statement starting at? Message to Iran.
I'm going to get it. If you want to go on, I can get it in just a minute. But Twitter is being such a jerk, man. I can't get anything. Yeah. Actually, I've got it on. I think I have it in a web page here. That might be easier to get it because we got to read this to you guys. There's no question. There's no ambiguity. There's no ambiguity in this whatsoever. I got it. You ready?
Yeah.
This is a special envoy Steve Witkoff today posted this. On behalf of President Trump, we are announcing the launch of phase 2 of the president's 20-point plan to end the Gaza conflict, moving from ceasefire to demilitarization, technocratic governance, and reconstruction. Phase 2 establishes a transitional technocratic Palestinian administration in Gaza, the National Committee for the Administration of Gaza, or NCAG, and begins the full demilitarization and reconstruction of Gaza, primarily the disarmament of all unauthorized personnel. The U.S. expects Hamas to comply fully with its obligations, including the immediate return of the final deceased hostage. Failure to do so will bring serious consequences. Importantly, Phase 1 delivered historic humanitarian aid, maintained the ceasefire, returned all living hostages and their remains of 27 of the 28 deceased hostages. We are deeply grateful to Egypt, Turkey, and Qatar for their indispensable mediation efforts that made all progress to date possible.
So that would mean that Israel would have to leave Gaza too, doesn't it?
It means that Israel's not part of that conversation, guys.
Mm-hmm.
It means that Gaza, and he's calling it Gaza. He's not calling it like Israel Light or Israel 2 or the new Israel. Which is what all these people like Tucker have, and all these idiots have been screaming and yelling. Like, you've got to understand, like, the reason that they're saying these things, you think these people are so convinced of something because they've done like some sort of massive amount of research and there's this room full of information and this person has been convinced of it. Well, what if it's not that? What if it's literally a piece of paper that went to the person that's sitting there at the other end of that internet terminal that says, no matter what, attack Trump like this? These two ways, no matter what. And every single one of you do it. If you look through some of my comments that I make comments to it and they respond to me, they're literally cut and paste. It's almost like some of the same people are making multiple comments to my one comment. It's the same person. You can't have 30 people that say exactly the same thing.
That's right. That's right. They got notes. They got the same playbook,
yes.
Katie.
Yes, and we can see patterns because of our position having been run through the ringer by these people for a decade.
In fact, I want to let you listen to this interview real quick, Shady, because it struck me. It's from somebody that's in Minnesota. Okay, it's some mom, and it's an interview of a protester in Minneapolis. Okay. And I want you to think of this. Why do the attacks come in waves? Coordinated, okay? And I want you to think of this Q post line as well. Support role of other digital soldiers. One falls and another one stands, rises. All right, now let's listen. You got to listen closely. You ready?
I'm ready.
That the president is directing these guys to come to your town. What does he have out for Minneapolis?
Oh, for everything. He hates us for our progressive values. We're a pawn in his game. We're a pawn in all of their ultimate game. We're being used as pawns, and all I know is that this fucking federal administration hates anybody who isn't white. And I don't know, I just feel like as white people we gotta step the fuck up. Yesterday, 10 years ago, 10 years before that, 10 years before that, 10 years before that. Just, our fucking neighbors are at risk and we need to be in the streets every fucking day. If it's not you today and you take a break, somebody else you know, get them out there, take their place. We gotta do.
One falls, another one rises.
It's in waves.
Oh, it comes in waves. Listen to this, guys.
Their place. We gotta do this in waves. We gotta protect ourselves. We gotta protect our neighbors. But it's time for white people to step the fuck up. They've been sleeping.
One falls, another one rises. Attacks come in waves, coordinated. And you notice that she's got a broiler pan on her? That was a broiler pan. But you hear that? Same playbook. It's easy to see once you understand the Democrat socialists' playbook, Shady.
That is actually a phenomenal example of exactly what it is that we're experiencing here. I mean, that because that's exactly what these people are doing. They are not real. Okay, this is not. They're not really concerned. Notice how the neighbor is always used.
That's Fry. That Fry is making that narrative, and they think it's their neighbor, Shady.
But I understand that. But it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Like anytime you want to talk about an illegal, the response to you is going to be, "Oh, we got to protect our neighbor in our community." You know, it's like it's a false equivalence. It's a straw man argument is the best way to put it. It's like they don't really care about. Listen, if you think Juan, the murderer, or Juan, the child blankist, or Juan, the whatever he is that's in your neighborhood is your neighbor that is a criminal, illegal alien, you are the problem, not ICE and not the federal government and not us. You are the one that's screwed up. You're the one that doesn't understand that is not your neighbor. That is a criminal, illegal alien. We can't fix stupid. We can only work around it.
And what would that criminal alien do to that lady?
Oh, you have no idea. But it depends on what country he's from. You know, it's like a lot of these people are from countries that, would throw gay people right off the roof.
Yeah.
People don't talk about that. You know, that's the Muslim, don't talk about the Muslims in that part of their, right. but they're the tolerant ones. These Somalis are very tolerant, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, in Minnesota, the troublemakers, and this is a post from Donald J. Trump, in Minnesota, the troublemakers, agitators, and insurrectionists are, in many cases, highly paid professionals. The governor and mayor don't know what to do. They have totally lost control and are currently being rendered, useless. It should be R.
I know.
A-R-E. Wow. Mm-hmm. And are currently being rendered useless. If and when I am forced to act, it will be solved quick and effectively. President Donald J. Trump. Clean and swift, in other words, Shady Groove. No civil war.
How did they do it? How were they able to convince this much of the population to stand up and defend hardened criminals? These people, a lot of these people, I know that some of the things that they had done didn't happen in America, But once you figure out who they are, you see their record in El Salvador or their record in Nicaragua or Central America, wherever the hell they're from. You see their record and you could see what it was that they were convicted of in their home country. And then they somehow ended up here running around, with a car and an EBT card and somehow an attitude that says there's something wrong with you if you're trying to get me out of the country.
So stupid, Shady.
Can you imagine going to another
50 years of propaganda?
I'd like to encourage any Democrat, any Democrat that looks at you and says any of this nonsense, ask them to go walk across that border into Mexico and go sit down in Tijuana and tell them to start serving you with government goods and government services. Let's see how far you get.
And don't forget a psychological pause.
You better bring your psychological.
So let's just look at this one more time. Again, Shady Groove. This is President Trump. Quickly and effectively, okay? It will be solved quickly and effectively. They've lost control. Useless. When I'm forced to act, what would the act be? It will be solved quickly and effectively. Let's go back. Who controls the National Guard? The state. Why is the National Guard recently activated in select cities within the U.S.? It's happening now. Can the National Guard work in coordination with the Marines? Do conditions need to be satisfied to authorize? If the Insurrection Act is enacted, yes, the Marines can do it. What former president used the military to save the Republic and what occurred? 37% of presidents have used this, Shady Group. This is the biggest drop ever to be provided, okay? Study and prepare. The masses tend to panic in such situation. Clean and swift, right? No war, no civil unrest, clean and swift. Again, quickly and effectively. That's clean and swift, Shady. Might as well just say clean and swift.
The exact same meaning.
Mm-hmm.
And it's what we signed up for. What we signed up for to stand here and to support this man was 100% exactly what he's doing. I'm seeing now, if you're paying attention to Fox News and all this other stuff, you're seeing that they're acting like he's losing major support in the on the grounds of immigration. The reason that is happening is because of what the media is doing right now. The media is trying to tell everybody that is in the middle that this ICE agent shot an unarmed lady without being provoked or without any context whatsoever. Ridiculous. So they are currently convincing people in this moment that is true. But we've got another 7 or 8 months before we get there. And let's just see if Democrats can actually get people to vote for them, because it's one thing to not like what Donald Trump's doing. It's another thing to go vote for a devout socialist or a devout communist or someone that says that they're going to take your property rights away. Going to vote for that instead of the people that Trump endorses is a big lift.
Yeah. In fact, I'm not going to say it, but what I want you guys to understand is, if I didn't find Q, Shady,
mm-hmm.
I probably would be sounding a lot like these people too. And we all would, to be honest.
I agree with that. Yes. I to some degree, I have to agree with that statement.
And here's what I want to explain, and then I'll hand it to you. But, when Donald Trump got elected, I was happy. Because I was like, I was a little scared because I knew that it was at Hillary's wedding, and all this other stuff. And I'm like, oh my God. But then when I had heard that speech, I believe it was in Tampa, or was it in West? I can't remember. The speech that will get Donald Trump elected. When I heard that, I'm like, he's talking my language. Because I was a conspiracy theorist back then. Now everything's all, we're always wrong until we're right. But when I saw that speech, Shady, I knew he was my guy. But then there was a time that it was like, okay, what do we do now? The guy is starting to get attacked and we don't know what's going on. And, I'm not sure what's happening. And then Q came on the scene, Shady Groove. And that helped me understand what he was doing and who we were dealing with, Shady.
That would be giving us what I was explaining earlier, the overarching connection to how it all makes sense. It all makes sense because it's all working against you. You really can't imagine that every single media entity on planet Earth is controlled by the same few people and puppets and reiterates and mimics the exact same repeat narrative, no matter what the topic. Any topic, agree 100% down the line. I think more than anything, that was the greatest gift that Q gave us, was the insight to understand that all the media, whether it's Mother Earth Jones or NPR or BBC or The Independent, no matter what your media source is coming from a corporate head, it is going to have a bias of globalism.
BBC.
Period. It does. Yes, it doesn't have a bias of America first. It doesn't care about you. What it cares about is its system. It cares about its future, and it cares about America failing because America can't succeed and all of them win. Only two things can occur. Either America wins and succeeds at being America and convinces other countries to be like America, or America loses and all the other countries go back to being under aristocracy dictatorships for infinity.
Yeah.
That's the two choices you have, guys. The road is clear. You have a choice. You can go to the golden age, which is where we're headed, or you can go over there with all of the people that say Donald Trump is make Israel great again. I think from what we read, Jeff, you can clearly see that Donald Trump is make the world great again. Yeah. A rising tide lifts all boats. People,
and give it back to the people.
The people, not the institution. Everybody you got to separate the institutions from the human beings that are not part of those institutions.
That's right. And Shady, all these people saying,
there's no arrests. Right. There hasn't been one single arrest.
There has been tons of arrests. In fact, DHS.gov/wow. Okay. You need to understand that these people are working hand in hand with the New World Order, with the old guard, with all the people that are criminals and corrupt. This is arrested, worst of the worst. Look at this, guys. Here's a fraud, probation violation, stolen property. This is a vice lord guy, Shady. This is the guy that was in Minneapolis that did the stolen vehicle, Shady.
Yeah, huh? FAFO season is upon us. That's what, a day? We got him in a day and a half?
Yeah. Criminal sexual conduct with a victim 13 to 15 years old. These are arrests of children herders, guys, okay? This is kidnapping and rape. Austin. This is Reno, Nevada. Rape, kidnap, adult to sexually assault. These are not your neighbors. And if they are my neighbors, do you want them gone? I want them gone. Do you want them gone?
I mean, I'd like maybe to be Alex Jones's neighbors.
Yeah. He wants to eat your neighbor.
And we could get rid of him quick like Pac-Man.
Grand larceny, assault, aggravated assault, affiliation, MS-13, Trenderagua, right here. This guy, weapon, burglary, forced entry of a residence, homicide, domestic violence, weapon. He can't even have a weapon in the U.S. He's illegal. Sex assault, neglect child, molestation of a minor. All right? There's no arrest, guys. There's been no arrests. These are arrests. Look at 1,666 pages, Shady.
How many people were on that front page? 10?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12.
Times how many pages?
1,666.
Okay. 1,000. We're going to do some quick math. 1,666
times 12.
Times 12 equals 12,792.
Wow.
13,000 people, just like what he read right there, are listed with their pictures. Ilhan Omar is on TV yesterday telling us that through all of the work that ICE and DHS has done, they've yet to find a criminal illegal.
Yeah.
That's literally what she said, guys. That's what they're telling their base, that you can't talk to these people because of what's being told to them, and then they block you out because they think that they're right and they have no further information other than some person with a towel on their head told them that on TV.
Yeah. Let me see if I can do this. I just did a search on child, okay? Child, any origin, a country, any state, okay? Let's see how many search results I got. 62, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 times 62 arrested for child abduction, assault of child, aggravated criminal sexual abuse of child. Guys, stop it.
750. That's 700. That's 750 of those. So let me explain that to you in real layman's terms. People that are like this, people that do these things, that are convicted of this stuff, do it a lot and do it often and have targets in mind. In other words, had they not been arrested, other people would have been injured since they've been arrested. because they're constantly doing this. This is what they do, especially these foreigners who have no connection whatsoever to a moral high ground. They have no connection whatsoever to thinking like, do unto others what others do unto you.
Yeah.
That's not the way things work. I hate to break it to you, but it's the way you want to organize your life, but it's not the way things work in third world countries.
And Shady, I want to point this out too. Finn, I'm going to read your comment because it's a good one. They, the black pillars, cry about certain people not getting arrested. Sometimes people don't get arrested who are guilty if they cover up their crimes or people paid off, or if there's no victim, if there's no proof, if there's no way to actually arrest these people. They've got you thinking like we can go in and arrest Bill Clinton right now.
Right. Yep.
Not yet. Not for Epstein Island. This is the Epstein Island people. This is the network, guys. This is who we're after. These are the people that are bringing in the children. These are the people that are hurting the children. This is the networks of the deep state, guys. These are arrests. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Go to dhs.gov/wow. And if they don't go there, then I don't know what to say about them, Shady Groove. I mean, this is the black pill is so huge, Shady Groove, and so bad that we're worried about the Epstein Island list when we've got 1,666 pages. How many people? 13. How many is that, Shady?
13,000.
13,000 plus, and that's just the ones. That's just the worst of the worst.
The ones that are printed there. The ones that are.
And then CNN is complaining that 170 U.S. citizens were racially profiled and detained, not arrested, detained by ICE until they can prove their citizenship. Do you have a problem with that, anybody? I don't.
I don't either. Because anybody that has been unlawfully detained or somehow has been injured by an ICE officer has the ability to use the court system to get remedy.
Yeah.
They all have an opportunity. It's called America. You're allowed to use American system to push forward and try to say that you somehow had the right to be getting in between a law enforcement agent and a perpetrator. If you can convince a jury that you were doing that like out of some sort of superhero motivation and they believe you, God bless you. Good luck with that. But the reality of the situation is you put yourself in front of a federal officer trying to enforce a warrant. Yeah. They are all enforcing a warrant. They're like, oh, nobody's got a warrant. Yes, they do. They have the people's names. They know where they are. And let me add one more thing to this.
The protesters even read the warrants.
Yes, and let me add one more thing to this. This could all be avoided. I'm going to prove to you in a couple of sentences how this is intentional. Minnesota is releasing the criminal illegals that they are going after. At least 4 or 5 of these people that they've been going after, including the person they were going after with Renee Good. The person that they were going after that day, the Minnesota authorities had released that person from custody earlier in the week. Therefore, instead of them holding that person until ICE gets there and they take them to the airplane and ship them back to who gives a hell where, instead of that happening, they released them into the city, forcing ICE to go into the city to get the child molesters, forcing ICE to go into the city to get the murderers. Then they weaponize the people and tell the people, oh, they're coming after your neighbor. Guys, you cannot, I cannot break it down any more simply. It cannot be any more easy to understand whenever you pay attention to the absolute facts. There is no reason in hell that these people can't hold these people and allow federal officers to get there and arrest them. They are criminally have papers from the federal government for deportation before they are released.
Yep. And I got a good question from Stella. How do they know they're illegal? That's a great question because that's what they're saying. These are targets. So ICE determines whether someone is in the United States illegally, okay, undocumented or unlawfully present through a combination of databases, law enforcement, interactions, tips, surveillance, and direct questioning. Being in the U.S. without legal status is generally a civil violation, not a criminal one in most cases, but ICE uses various tools to trigger identities and locate people. Here are the most common ways ICE finds out or confirms if someone's immigration status: fingerprints and database checks during arrests. That's the most common one. When somebody is arrested by local police, state authorities, or other agencies, even for minor things like a traffic stop, their fingerprints are routinely run through federal databases. These include FBI criminal records, DHS, ICE immigration records. They took records, guys. If there's a hit showing prior immigration violations, overstay, prior to deportation order, or no legal status, ICE gets notified and can issue a detainer to take custody. Targeted enforcement using data and surveillance. ICE builds cases, shared databases, DMV, utility bills. They're also working with the IRS, Social Security, and IRS data, commercial databases, gang databases, other intelligence tips from informants, neighbors, employers, or even disgruntled people. Worksite raids and employer audits, direct encounters and questioning, prior immigration history. It's all there. We have it all documented.
Oh, so some of the neighbors don't want them there.
Right.
Isn't that interesting?
Mm-hmm.
And a matter of fact, I've seen a few TikTok videos from real people that live in Minnesota, and I've yet to see one that I felt like was genuinely unhappy with ICE getting people out of their state.
Yeah.
Because the fraud is immense. The fraud is way more than 18 billion. The fraud is hundreds and hundreds. Now they found out where they've been shipping like $700 million in cash has went through the airport there.
I heard
Like
100 million in total. 100 million in total. The 17th largest airport in the world.
Yes.
Okay. And that's more than O'Hare, guys.
And think about how much weight all that money is. Think about what it weighs. It's cash. It has weight. They're moving it. There's an internal structure within the airport that is helping the trafficking. This is what we've been calling out. There's an internal network within every single system that is controlled by ex-military or globalist interest or climate change fanatics. Whatever the category is, they're in charge of the system.
Yeah. America has no jurisdiction in other countries for crimes committed there. But if they were released here, they're documented and we can get them out because of those crimes.
Exactly. If they have committed a crime or been charged with a crime in a foreign country, we can utilize that as a reason to throw them out. Absolutely. Right. You go be a felon and try to move to Australia, they won't even let you come visit.
That's right.
Like you can't even go to Europe or some European countries if you're a felon in America, guys. Like, but it's fine. As long, if you make it to America, it doesn't matter who you killed. You become an American. We love you. That's our attitude.
Yeah. Yeah. And immigration or passports can be rejected for criminal history. That's right. Tim Walz and the Democrats love preaching about turning down the temperature, guys, especially now that President Trump's ICE is finally enforcing the laws and removing illegal aliens from American communities. Here's the reality check, guys. Tim Walz wants to turn down the temperature. The best way to actually do that is by adding ice, right? If you add ice, the temperature goes down. You have a hot soda, you put ice in it, that temperature goes down, doesn't it? More agents, more deportations, more rule of law. He calls ICE the modern-day Gestapo one day and then begs Trump to cool it the next day after chaos erupts in Minnesota. He urges people to film ICE agents for future prosecutions while whining about retribution and occupation. Meanwhile, President Trump is delivering on the mandate secure borders that we voted for, protect American citizens, and end the invasion that Democrats enabled for years. Hypocrisy much? Walz and the left fan the flames of open borders, sanctuary nonsense, and anti-ICE rhetoric for years. Now, they're shocked when real enforcement brings the heat they deserve. America First means enforcing our laws, not coddling criminals. More ICE, cooler temperatures for law-abiding citizens who want safe neighborhoods and a sovereign nation. Here's Tim Walz looking all serious with his Somali Minnesota flag behind him, trying to play both sides. You can't do it. And here's what real cooling looks like, guys. ICE in action, restoring order. Shady.
Restoring order to American streets, man. The reason that you don't have order in your street is not because you don't have the will of the people to have that. It's because the people have been the word, the language, the intent, the force behind the voice of we the people disappeared. It's not a flaming bonfire. The voice of we the people in every single space should be a flaming bonfire, and it's been reduced to barely a small candle. And that's part of the problem. We the people don't have an advocate in Washington, D.C. Nobody actually stands up and says, we the people say this. The media comes on and says, we the media people say this, and you are going to listen to us. And if you say anything alternative to that, there's something wrong with you. That is not the country that I want. That is not the country the founding fathers suggested that we have. And none of us benefit from all of this nonsense that they've been doing to us for 30 years. I don't care what you say. You can't tell me that they pay taxes. You can't tell me that they do jobs Americans won't do. None of this nonsense. every bit of it. Any corporation in America should be paying a full living wage to any human being that works for it. And there should be penalties for these corporations. It's not just about getting the illegals out, by the way. I want these corporations charged for bringing them here and housing them on their property for a decade.
Yeah.
Which they do. Look at every meat packing company. Go on the internet and just type in meat packing companies, find out where they are, and look from above on your Google search. Look at the housing that they have on site of the manufacturing plants and tell me that's not where the illegals live.
Yeah. It's insane, guys. How do you control generations of a populace? 50 years of conditioning, 50 years of propaganda, 50 years of lies, peaceful protests, riots, summer of love redo. What happens when you corner an animal? Midterms, Democrat power and implosion shady.
Now we've had a decade of some common sense, and look how hard they fight. They fight so hard they tell you that you got to go wear a mask. They fight so hard they say, "Oh, it's my body, my choice," unless they need to put a shot in you. You know, I mean, it's like the dynamic of hypocrisy. One of the things that got me to understand conspiracy was that I didn't like to see hypocrisy. For instance, my parents would tell me not to smoke, but they smoked in the car. The hypocrisy really irritated me as a child, and I didn't like it. And so whenever I started to see the blatant hypocrisy in government, and then the media act like the hypocrisy was just fine and normal, all of a sudden you start to lift up the paper and dig in a little bit, and you see the man behind the curtain pretty quickly.
So, hypocrisy. A lot of these people voted for Obama, correct?
Yep.
Hypocrisy.
As time goes on, 1,000 deportations on average a day. People are wondering, and our Twitter feeds and Facebook feeds, that's the question everybody asks. Won't you at least consider unilaterally freezing deportations for the parents of deferred action kids?
Yeah. Here's the problem that I have, Jose, and I've said this consistently. My job in the executive branch is supposed to be to carry out the laws that are passed. Congress has said, here's the law when it comes to those who are undocumented, and they allocate a whole bunch of money for enforcement. And what I have been able to do is to make a legal argument that I think is absolutely right, which is that given the resources we have, we can't do everything that Congress has asked us to do. What we can do is then carve out the DREAM Act folks, saying young people who have basically grown up here are Americans that we should welcome. We're not going to have them operate under a cloud, under a shadow. But if we start broadening that, then essentially I would be ignoring the law in a way that I think would be very difficult to defend legally. So that's not an option.
All right, so let me just, highlight that for you guys because it's very simple. What he was saying is this old clip of Barack Hussein Obama that resurfaced, and now it's kind of going viral, where he refuses to freeze deportations for parents of DACA kids. Quote, "No, that's not an option. I'd be ignoring the law." Common sense back then. Today, Democrats scream insurrection because it's Trump enforcing the same exact laws. Crazy, isn't it?
It's 100% the perfect example. It's the perfect example. Trump is not doing anything different than what Barack Obama was doing. And by the way, they were going into cities and they were getting people and they were deporting them. They were going to get them at their places of residence. It was they didn't have a single whistle blown. They didn't have anybody trying to stop and impede traffic. They didn't have anybody that was setting off fireworks around them as they were trying to do it.
Huh. Imagine that.
Isn't that interesting? Because it's the person. And by the way, Barack Obama is kind of the one that's in charge of all of this going on right now.
Interesting.
It is interesting, isn't it?
Because they want to keep power, guys. And you're not going to win the midterms. I don't care what General Black Pill says or not. They're not going to win the 2026 primaries because, one, nobody cares about this transgender BS, guys. And that's not a winning argument. It's a 20% thing, okay? Nobody gives a Nike. Okay? We do care that they're hurting our kids, but if you're 18 and plus and you want to go whatever, do it. But don't let me pay for it. I don't want to pay for it. They're not going to win on keeping illegal aliens that are criminals here, guys. They're not going to win on that. They don't got anything to win on unless They keep these illegals in here, then they have a better chance of winning. Are you starting to understand, maybe, Shady? You get it, right?
I do get it, because I have also another thing that I could add to your equation there would be the distance between now and the elections in each one of these states that are already making concessions about how their voter rolls are messed up. Like, for instance, Oregon has already found 800,000. They're going to have to remove 800,000 people off their voter rolls. Many other states are going to have to do the same thing. They're not going to, and not to mention every single illegal that we deport, that illegal doesn't vote. Isn't that interesting? We're deporting their voters.
Exactly right. New seats too. So
we're going to lose the midterms.
So somebody was saying that Minnesota could lose a seat in what was it, Polymarket? Eddie was talking about today that Minnesota could actually lose a seat with all the Somalis being deported.
I think they might lose more than one, because from what I was seeing a bunch of airplanes taking off, and the person was acting like that those airplanes were Somalis going back to Somalia. So God bless you all.
Yeah. And I'd like to point this out, too, because it's Trump that's in the Epstein files, right? But yet, 2 Clintons, 2 empty chairs, Shady Groove. Congressional subpoenas are not suggestions. They are enforced by law. If they have nothing to hide, Bill and Hillary, why didn't you show up? If Democrats care so much about Epstein, why are they quiet about this? Why are you Democrats quiet about Hillary and Bill not showing up for their deposition? Contempt is coming, Shady.
But Jeff, they kept telling me in their post that if anybody was guilty, that they should be have to stand up for whatever that they've done, and they didn't care if it was Hillary or whoever it was.
Yeah.
They don't really think that. None of these people really think that. It's all opportunism. It's all about pushing forth the agenda. It's all about using chaos to create a vacuum so they can initiate and instill power against you. It's crazy because the way that the country was founded, it's so opposite of the intent of the country, and they are so adamant that they're the ones that are somehow knighted to lead us. Like, who knighted these people? Like, we have to listen to you. Like, no, the majority of America, 75% of America says we want all the illegals gone, but no, we got to listen to you say no. We have to keep all the cheap labor here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And by the way, that is not post number 1, Patriots for Truth. That is a response to an anon. Right? And it might have already happened. People don't get this too. Like, Hillary wasn't arrested. How do you know? People get arrested all the time and are released on their own recognizance. We don't know if she was arrested or not. You don't know. I don't know.
We had some evidence. We had some evidence that she actually was.
Where she could only go to certain countries.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have extradition. So, again, there's a lot of stuff out there that we don't know, but the news will unlock the map. And I get what you're saying. I want that to happen too. We'll see.
Also, it could be the final scene of the movie.
Mm-hmm. That'll be a great scene, won't it?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
We're getting closer. And it doesn't matter. The thing is that what matters the most to me is that the American economy succeeds and we get this behemoth of control and suppression off of our financial structure, and all these people that are able to manipulate the financial structure by being in Congress or having inside information. They've been doing this for decades and decades and decades. I'd like for them to not have that privilege any longer, and that would suffice just as much as anyone being arrested.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Look what happened here. A Cuban national, Robin Aragote Brooks, used his vehicle as a weapon in San Antonio, Shady. Look at this. Look at this, Shady.
Mm.
Watch out behind you! Watch out! Holy!
Oh, that's not good.
Watch out in front of you! Watch out in front! Get out of the car! Get out of the car!
So you've got yourself boxed in there, kiddo.
Cut it off! Cut it off! Now! Cut it off! Turn off the car! Cut the car! Cut off! Come out of the car!
Watch the window.
Come out of the car! Come out! Now! 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 Now!
Nice try, champ.
Model!
Give your college try.
So that's what's happening, guys. These stochastic terrorism being talked about all the time by Minneapolis, all the top Democrats calling people Nazis, calling people Gestapo, when they're actually Following the law, Shady Group. They're following the law.
Following the law. They're actually not even following the law. They're on a mission. They have the piece of paper in their hand of the person that they're going after. It's a direct operation. It is a mission. It's not just like, the law. It is a direct operation, and they think that they can get in the way of it. It would be no different than if you're watching, let's say you're watching CSI, right? Okay, you're watching CSI, and the FBI surrounds the house, and they're getting ready to go in. And the next thing you know, all the neighbors show up like Cinco de Mayo and start like dancing around in the yard, like hitting the piñata and like passing out cupcakes and drinks for everyone as the FBI is still hiding in the bush. That's effectively what's going on.
Yeah, it really is. Now, look what happened in, Philadelphia. You got problems now,
Big
man.
time. Bigly.
Uh-huh. Check this out.
Won't no ICE agent ever run up on me. I guarantee you they won't. I'll put a hole in their chest the size of a window. Safe line repair, safe line replace. That's what's going to happen. They touch me. Unarmed woman was killed by ICE. If you think you're about to come and brutalize the people while we're standing here, fuck around and find out. Our interactions with the police and ICE, and we hold them accountable. We hold them accountable. We patrol the community and we hold them accountable. The Black Panther Party for Self-Defense, we're the same Panther Party from back in the day, but we're a little more aggressive now, you dig? Carry bigger guns and we don't take no shit. Places where there are a lot of immigrants at, I think that the community around them needs to take special care to them and needs to start escorting them to and from everywhere to make sure that they're safe. Because them ICE agents ain't going to act like that if it's a bunch of people standing outside with assault rifles and shotguns. It's a semi-automatic shotgun. That means them shotgun shells that shoot out of a pump, they shoot them rapidly. If you are going to legally arm yourself with something bigger than what they got. Those who serve in the public, they should be fearful of the public. They should be fearful that the public's going to be dissatisfied with their job that they're doing, not feeling like they're tyrants, not feeling like they're bullies because they got guns and body armor and walkie-talkies. That makes them immune to whatever the people would do. I think you want to correct the ideology of the pig and the mentality of the slave catcher. You meet them with equal force. All power to the motherfucking people. No power to the pig.
The guy represents people like Benny Thompson. Benny Thompson was, protected by those people. A number of the other people on the J6 committee had connections to the Black Panthers. The Communist Party connected them. So is Antifa and BLM, all connected to the Black Panthers. So keep on making videos, sir. Keep on building that TikTok up, sir. Keep on threatening federal law enforcement, sir. We'll see you on the inside soon, sir.
That's right, guys. And we're going to be getting out of here, Shady Groove. We're going to go to hour number 2. It's going to be premium, but we're going to end the show with a song that I made, Shady Groove. We'll see you guys. And right after this song, we're going to premium. Follow the Bloodlines with us. Join Rumble Premium.
Thank you, guys. We're going to be the premium content for today. Will be the second reading of Bloodlines of the Illuminati. We're going to be getting into the Astor family. I'm not sure if we'll get all the way through that today, but thank you so much for being here. Thank you for supporting the MG Show, and we will see you all Monday.
One day, we'll build a fucking hole in your life. Nothing will ever make you feel like a human being again. Ever.
10 walls, preachers peace. Turn down the heat while Trump's ice rolls in. Boots on the street, deporting the invaders, enforcing the law. Cleaning up the mess that the left let thaw. Turn down the temperature, add more ice. Agents on the border, no more playing nice. Deportations rising, rule of law in sight. America first, we're winning the fight. More ice means cooler days for you and me. Safe streets, strong border sovereignty. Called him Gestapo, modern day thugs. Then chaos in Minnesota, now he's begging for hugs. Trump, cool it down after fanning the flame. Open borders and sanctuaries, that's your game. Big shout out to MG Music, dropping truth bombs in every beat. Fear not anthems, trust a plan, waking patriots on their feet. From the MG Show to the front lines, lyrics by Anthem Matrix hit hard. Faith fueled fire, battle cries, we're rising, never scarred. Hypocrisy high, left's rhetoric burn. Anti-ICE screams, now lessons learned. They coddled the criminals, enabled the flood. Shock when enforcement draws real blood. Turn down the temperature, add more ice. Agents on the border, no more playing nice. serious, playing both sides, but MAGA's awake. No more leftist rise. Enforce the laws, protect the land. Trump's America, united we stand. MG, music forever. Play it loud. Patriots.
Oh yeah, add more ice. www.mg.show. Boom.
The MG Show. Not funded by dark money, but funded by listeners like you.